Well, where do I even begin? I started out working as a church musician, like getting paid to play music at church when I was 10 years old, at a Baptist church in Memphis, Tennessee, on 4th Street. My mom was also a musician. She was very good with choirs and teaching, and she was highly sought out. And so I would travel all over the city with her and always have to go to church service with her, me, uh, my brother, and my sister. And we were always with mom, you know. So wherever she was going, whatever service, she also is a preacher and a minister as well. So whatever service she was at, we were at. And for me, I think it happened by default, you know, that I would start to hear all the music and be interested and be curious to learn the other instruments around me. And so that was really my life, you know, just stretching out, learning other instruments. My mom taught me the 1, 4, and the 5 chords on the piano. She was my first music teacher. And so, like I said, I started getting paid as a drummer actually when I was 10 years old. And then the next year, I got asked to play for a church in Mississippi as an 11-year-old, and I'm making like $150 or something by this time. So, it's, listen, for an 11-year-old, that's a lot of money. But I would do that, and then I would have opportunities in high school to just, you know, take care of myself. Now, I did start working some other jobs, like some youth initiative programs for the city of Memphis and things like that. Shout out to my godmom, always looking out for me. But the music never left me, you know, and so I would graduate high school. I actually got a full basketball scholarship. That's another story. But I was good in basketball. I was good in sports, man. I played every sport in high school. But I went to college on a basketball scholarship where I eventually tore my ACL and had reconstructive knee surgery. And guess what was still there after I pursued basketball and other jobs, you know, music was still there. So music has been a very constant force in my life. Just soothing my soul individually, but on a business tip, like music has taken very good care of me for over 30 years now. And so we bring the story up to today's time, okay? I left my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee in 2014 to further pursue my dreams and goals and just be successful, you know, just look for other opportunities, which I eventually did find. Now, that journey moving from Memphis to LA it was a culture shock for me because I was one of those I had never visited LA. I had never been to the West Coast, but I knew that I was ready to do something different, you know, and something fresh and something big. And so I went for it, man. I packed my 2 bags of clothes, got me a one-way ticket, and I left in March of 2014. Boarded that plane from Memphis to Los Angeles, and it was that first year, almost, you know, between a year and a half or so. It was very challenging. I was very challenging. Now that's another topic for another day as well. But once I got into my vibe, right? Once I got into my circle of people, man, it was a fun time. It was a fun time and actually a very successful time because what started to happen is that more people started to know who I was, you know. While at first I was trying to be out at everything and network and go to every jam session and get people to see and hear me, it became a point where I didn't have to do any of that. And everyone was calling me, hey, are you available? Can you come play for this? Can you come play for that? You know, getting hired to be the musical director for a variety of events and featured on, you know, different programs and things. And so that was a good time. I was blessed to be the musical director at Zen Lounge during this high time to me, you know. Shout out to all the homies, all the musicians, all the singers to come through there. Thank you, Tisha and Dwayne, for giving me an opportunity to serve there. But while I was there, man, it was just some awesome encounters with, you know, notable figures in Hollywood and beyond. everyone would come through there every weekend just to hang out, just to, be fresh, be fly, do something different, enjoy some good music. The food was good. So that was a good time. I believe my favorite performance ever, I'm going to say, and being in LA, but just ever, was the opportunity to play with a 100-piece orchestra at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which is a beautiful facility, man. The sound in there is crazy. But it was my first time doing that, and I was sitting on the 9-foot Steinway grand piano with all the instruments of the orchestra like around me, like a semicircle. I was there with my good friend, bless his heart, man, Abraham McDonald, who has gone on now, but awesome singer. We did a Luther Vandross tribute, and I'll never forget that. My LA journey overall and my musical journey in life, while it did start in the church, it took me to, places that I had only imagined or dreamed of or didn't even know that was possible, because I wasn't thinking that big at the time, to be honest. And so during my LA journey, I had a church, right? I was still playing for church because that still, very consistent thing, very constant thing in my life. I knew that if everything around me goes crazy, the church, the opportunity to play for a church service would always be there. Until until the year 2020 came, and well, let me back up a little bit. I am into some really cool things now, including international travel, but that only happened again because of my passion and my love for music, my ability to play multiple instruments, to direct the band, to teach parts. It got me an opportunity to travel the world. And I honestly have been getting several calls to travel, but I had a fear of flying and I wouldn't get my passport, and I kept missing calls until one major call came through that I missed, and it broke my heart. That's another video for another day, man. This can go so many directions, but I don't want to be too long here. I have an announcement that I'm trying to get to on this video. But yeah, so music gave me my ticket, to everywhere. It gave me my ticket to relocate from Memphis to LA. I had that to look forward to. I knew that if I got in my right circle, I could get opportunities, I could get work, and I eventually did. It gave me my ticket from LA to travel the world. The opportunities I received were to do a tour in France, a tour in Germany. While in Germany, I got to go to Italy. I got called to do events in Mexico and Panama and Hawaii. Like, all of this is paid things, for me to do what I knew how to do since I was 10 years old. And it was a very cool experience. However, something unique happened while I was traveling, right, and working as a musician. I fell in love with travel, man, which is quite interesting, right, because after being afraid to fly, after not having my passport, there was a transition that started to happen. I fell in love with it. And honestly, I'm still not so in love with the idea of flying, so to speak, right? No, I'm not running to get on the plane like, hey, let's go get on the plane and fly. Every time I go, I'm literally facing my nervousness, facing my, human thoughts or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I do it because I know that all the beautiful things that I'm going to see and experience and it's on the other side of that plane ride, and so we fly. But yeah, I fell in love with travel so much to the point where I no longer wanted to do it as work or do it when I got hired to go, because a lot of times, and my fellow musicians, my fellow gigging musicians understand, a lot of times you're there wherever you are and you're mainly working, right? You're thinking about the lobby call, you may have a rehearsal, you may have sound check, you may have the event or the show, and then it's on, it's out of there. Now, some people are able to get those, those gigs where you have a day off or you have a couple of days off and you can go do the tours and do all the events and activities outside of the work. But I hadn't really experienced that fully yet. And so I started to feel like every time I would travel, I would have to work, and I kind of resented that after, so long. I was grateful for the opportunity, but my heart and my passion to just go and be there and explore freely, definitely outgrew uh, where I even imagined it would go to. But so yeah, that brings us to today. And this week, I did let my family and friends know that after 30 plus years of being a church musician, I was retiring from that work. So now, when I say that, I'm not saying that I'm leaving God, you know what I mean? Like, I take God with me everywhere I go, regardless. And for me personally, I don't believe that God is uh, limited to four walls of any building. Um, Another video for another day. We can get into all that. But I I know that this has been something that's been in the making for a while. And I want to honor that. I am getting older. I am uh, gaining interest in other things. And this was not a quick emotional thought. I've been talking to my wife about this for the past couple of years. And I had a very life changing event to take place this year with my health and my body. And I had a major surgery to happen, which I'm grateful that we have fully recovered from that. But, a series of events led me to consulting with God and making sure that I was in position to fully pursue my new dreams and goals. You know what I mean? And so I want to formally announce today that not only have I retired as a church musician, but this is my official retirement from the music industry as a whole. And I do not plan to continue the work as a paying or gigging musician. That doesn't mean that the music will ever leave my life. I'm just now stepping into other things, and I will incorporate my love and my skills for music in different ways, in ways that allow me to have total freedom and liberty. I can just give it away. It's not a situation where this is the main thing and it has to take care of me. So that is the announcement that I wanted to make, you guys. Not only is it the church, but it's the music industry as a whole, and I want to thank all of the support, all the supporters, all of my family and friends, everyone I've ever worked with in any capacity, whether it been, during my time at the church or out and about. I've played for countless smaller gatherings as well as larger gatherings. I was telling you guys about the 100-piece orchestra at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. I've traveled the world. Like, music has done so much for me, man. I have so many friends and so many awesome relationships and beautiful memories because of music. And for that, I will forever be grateful. But I am also very excited about my new season right now and the journey going forward. And so I ask you guys, man, for your continued prayers, support. I'm going to be stepping out into some new things, and a couple of things that I know that I have a responsibility to do as I make this transition. I'm not going to be irresponsible and not reach back and teach others and show others and encourage and inspire others. And so this is the beginning of that. And I want to say to everyone, wherever you are in your life and your journey, make that move, make that call. Don't just talk about it, don't just continue to dream about it, but we have to put action to our words, man. We have to put action to our faith, to our hope, to our belief. And so I want to encourage everyone watching this video right now. I don't know what your individual situation is, but be encouraged, man. Stay inspired, stay motivated to push for the thing that you really want to do. Try not to get stuck in any one place for too long if it's not, if it's no longer serving you. If you have given it your all and whatever the case may be. Try not to just get stuck in, I know how to do this. This is what it is. I'm going to stay here. Life is calling you to experience more, and so I want my journey to be an example of that. It's a bold and courageous move, but it is a move that had to be made. I cannot continue to talk about what I envision and what I hope for and not be about that action. And so here we are. We're here. We're taking action. Got a lot of cool things coming up. I have my own travel group. I'm going to be doing some teaching in other areas. And I'm just excited about, man, the blessing of now and the hope and the faith in the future. You know what I'm saying? God has it all in his hands. It's all in his control. And all we have to do is believe, take action every day. And when we look back, the goal is to not have any regrets, only lessons, man. All right, so that is the announcement I wanted to make. And I thank you all for listening. I have not really been active on YouTube, but that's a part of the change and transition as well. So you can look for me here, follow my journey, follow my social media. Please like this video, share it with someone who needs some inspiration, Thanks for listening. It's your girl, Arean Alston. Until next time, y'all. Peace and blessings. I just wanted to clarify one thing. I started to make a point about the year 2020, and we all know what was going on, the great pandemic, right? Well, I'm going to have to go more in detail on another video, but I want to give a shout out to the good people at Victory Institutional Baptist Church here in Hawthorne, California, who actually took very good care of me when everyone else turned me away from not being able to be out, not being able to come together. The money stopped rolling in. That was a very difficult first week for me, man. Just the reality of I had so much work lined up. I had some more travel opportunities lined up, and to get a call or 2-3 calls every other day saying, I'm sorry, we're not able to, we can't, I had never experienced that before, because as far as I knew, being a gigging musician, that puts us in demand, you know what I mean, in a place to be able to accept what you want or not accept this, or, work the hours you would like to. But man, that pandemic, it shook the world, y'all, for not just music and entertainment, but about all of us, and especially if you were an entrepreneur, right? And so we're going to come back with a part 2, because I need to let y'all know that I was able to continue with music at the local church that I serve here for over 7 years. But also the pandemic opened my eyes to explore myself on a deeper level. And I discovered a lot of other skills and things that I was good at outside of music. And from that, other businesses were birthed. We'll talk more about it, but stay tuned. There's a part 2 coming. The pandemic actually, it turned your girl into a beast.